Alright, we are live, and we have made some quick changes to make sure the browser looks beautiful. Let's maybe change it a bit more. And this is it. We're using ChatGPT Atlas. It is looking beautiful. We are changing some quick things over here just to make sure things are aesthetic. Life without endeavor is like entering a jewel mine and coming out with empty hands. Exactly. Alright, we'll do a quick stream and then we'll go back to Francais. And this is it. Perfect. Looks pretty beautiful, huh? Yeah. So this is very interesting. Like Arc-Dia is beautiful. Arc-Dia is beautiful. Not Arc-Dia, just Dia. Dia is beautiful, but it's not powerful. Comet is not beautiful. It might be powerful. ChatGPT Atlas is 80% there with the beauty, and it is also powerful. So obviously it makes sense to use Atlas right now. Just saw this in a conference room at Tesla Global Engineering HQ in Palo Alto. What is this? The future is autonomous. Conference room at Tesla Global Engineering HQ in Palo Alto. It's interesting, like sometimes how they make changes that even Elon might not know about. Gone from 0 to 1 thermodynamic computing.
So far, it's been scale the same old computing paradigm, feeding more data and more power, a lot more power. Data center providers, artificial intelligence is enabling companies and nations alike on a race to scale the production of intelligence. The plan so far has been simple: scale the same old computing paradigm by feeding more data and more power, a lot more power. Data center providers are going as far as building their own nuclear power plants, looking to achieve an energy supply that is poised to dwarf the current U.S. energy grid several times over. But simply pouring more power to the current compute stack will be far too slow and too costly to produce human-level intelligence distributed to the world. But scaling energy is only half the equation. The other part is about how efficiently we can turn that energy into intelligence. What if, instead of simply scaling power production, we increase how many thoughts we can generate per watt? What if we reimagined the density of intelligence we can achieve at matter? We need to fundamentally rethink the hardware layer from the bottom up. Luckily, nature has already shown us that a far greater energy efficiency is possible. We can take inspiration from its underlying physical principles and harness them directly in hardware. That's why Extropic will building a new kind of device, a probabilistic computer for a new era of computation, along with new algorithms that can be run on. Extropic's computers feature new types of computational primitives that sample from simple probability distributions. And it turns out if you combine many of these sampling circuits together using some concepts from machine learning, you can actually build a system that does kind of the same fundamental task as something like ChatGPT mentioned. At the core of our devices lie new computational building blocks, which sample from simple probability distributions. One of our core primitives is called probabilistic bit, or pbit. Instead of simply being a 0 or 1, a pbit can be tuned, flicker in between, spending time in each state according to a programmable probability. When you connect millions of these qubits together, immense computational power can emerge. All of these new types of processors, thermodynamic sampling units, or TSUs. And today, we're unveiling our first step towards scalable TSUs with X0, our first prototype silicon chip. Our X0 prototype is a simple device comprised of dozens of probabilistic circuits, demonstrates a set of novel primitives, and proves that these primitives can be reliably built and controlled in silicon and room condition. For the first time, we're making TSUs available to early users with a testing and prototyping kit called the XDR0. This desktop device boasts 2 X0 chips, letting researchers explore hybrid algorithms that combine traditional processors with thermodynamic sampling units. XDR0 will be available to select early access partnering organizations this fall. Alongside XDR0, we're open sourcing Thermal, a Python library for simulating TSUs on GPUs. Thermal allows developers to start building algorithms today that will run efficiently on tomorrow's thermodynamic hardware. We're excited to collaborate with the open source community to kickstart explorations of the thermo AI algorithmic landscape. And last but not least, we're announcing our next generation TSU, Z1. Z1 is our first commercial scale TSU and will feature 250,000,000 interconnected qubits per chip, forming a large programmable graph. Z1 chips will be integrated into systems comprised of millions of qubits, unlocking the potential of thermodynamic computing while maintaining a power-efficient and dense form factor. Z1 is important because you can use it to run energy-based models, which are a type of machine learning model that serve the same fundamental purpose as today's transformers or diffusion models, modeling complicated probability distributions. Today, we released our first paper where we talk about denoising thermodynamic models, which are a new type of machine learning model that we developed here at Extropic to leverage our thermodynamic sampling units most efficiently. In the research presented in the paper, we find by simulating a small piece of a Z1 TSU that we can solve simple generative modeling benchmarks using around 10,000 times less energy than the most efficient algorithm running on a GPU. At Extropic, we're charting a new path forward for artificial intelligence. In just a few short years, we've moved from concept to room-scale cryogenic experiments to a desktop prototype that runs at room temperature. We've designed and built new probabilistic primitives that form the foundation for a whole new era of computing. We believe that thermodynamic computing will fundamentally
Explain what Extropic does. As if I'm a 5-year-old. Let's see. a toy robot that learns by watching the world and getting smart over time, but instead of using batteries, it learns by using energy from nature. They're building computers that think more like nature instead of just using electricity in straight lines like normal computers. They use physics like temperature, pressure, and movement to do thinking. It's called thermodynamic computing. Smart computers that learn using energy the same way the universe works, kind of like giving computers a brain made of science instead of metal. Interesting.
We define how we convert energy into intelligence. If you want to help us pioneer the paradigm, join us. The journey will be long, but the payoff for densifying intelligence will be immense. Extropic, building the ultimate substrate for intelligence.
Now it's time to scale the paradigm. Congrats, Gil. Mehdi AI as if from Dune. We built from Boston, not from SF, because it's just cracked the mighty folks there with no distractions. That's what Gil told me. I guess it paid out. This looks seriously cool. Less hand may be much more precise and direct. The value of harnessing randomness at the semiconductor level is something a lot of folks have slept on for too long, and the ability to form said distributions obviously would serve significant value in terms of ability to compute probabilistic algorithms. Open safety models now in storage preview. 2 open weight reasoning models built for safety classification. Classify content. The model interprets those policies to classify messages, conversations. Outperform GPT-5 thinking GPT OSS open models on multi-policy accuracy. Five practical use cases of OpenAI GPT OSS safeguard models to excel in reasoning-based safety classification. Posts discussing cheats or exploits, helping moderators enforce fair play without constant retraining. Detect fake or manipulated product reviews by analyzing against custom policies, improving trust in user feedback. Image or video outputs to block harmful content step by step. Review chats for sensitive topics like self-harm, misinformation using adaptable policies for emerging risk. Chatbot safety. Classify user interactions in real time against detailed taxonomies, ensuring safe responses in apps like virtual assistants. Interesting. Officially SOC 2 Type 2 certified. Security and privacy are critical for customers. Will SOC 2 Type 2. All extremely young people. This is cool. I'm closing a beautiful chapter with Cosmos. 9th, Andy McCune. Okay. Grammarly is now called Superhuman, led by the CEO of Coda. Grammarly is now called Superhuman and led by the CEO of Coda. This is actually pretty cool. Like, I just saw this today. Grammarly is now called Superhuman. It actually makes sense. Superhuman is a much better name. Superhuman is a much better name. Grammarly is cool. Grammarly shows you something interesting that is happening in the world, where if you pick a very, very niche topic, if you pick a very, very niche thing, you can win. And it's very interesting. Like, Grammarly is a very niche, very specific, very simple idea, and they happen to acquire Superhuman, which was more complicated, much more cool and fancy. So you see the difference, like a boring business making way more money, acquiring this extremely cool, fancy tool that all the VCs used. So that tells you something. That Grammarly is good at business. Let's see, what is the Grammarly stock price? I don't know if they're public. Not publicly traded. Okay, last. Can you share their last revenue, last quarter revenue? $700 million. Okay. Okay. How is Grammarly's business affected due to the AI wave? 1 billion non-dilutive financing is a shift into a broader AI-powered productivity platform beyond just grammar checks, adding generative AI features with enterprise metrics to show business value, measuring effective communication score and ROI to cater to business users, not just individuals. They report strong impact metrics for enterprise customers in support, marketing, editing efficiency, which shows they're leveraging AI to deliver more value in a crowded environment. What challenges, pressures they face? Writing communication tool space is crowded now because of generative AI models and big platforms using similar features. Major companies are embedding writing AI features. I think this makes so much sense. Like Notion has everything embedded in. Everybody has everything embedded in. So it's going to be difficult to fight that. Oh, you got to have the specific extension just for spell check when everything is spell check. Google has it inbuilt. Everybody has it built. Rely on being the grammar checker anymore because of this environment. Grammarly is forcing a pivot from grammar assistant to AI productivity platform. The rebranding are rebranding to break other tools into the suite. Organization product risk. Opportunity for Grammarly. They appear to be proactively moving to capture the succeed. They could significantly expand their addressable market from grammar and writing into full productivity communication tools. They must execute on product integration and differentiation so users choose them rather than just free AI writing tools. Recent competitive moves. Changing its name to Superhuman. Changed the game on Grammarly, but now it's adding more AI to pull users back into its sidebar. Superhuman beta. AI data plagiarism checker proof reader. This channel or writing tool, Grammarly still exists, but it's taking a backseat. It's a really complicated and frankly scary thing, but the reality is the Grammarly brand isn't going anywhere. Superhuman. Adopting its new name from AI email app Superhuman Mail, which Grammarly acquired in June following its December 24 acquisition of Quora collaborative workspace app. So it's just like Notion. Notion is going all in on everything, and same exact thing for Superhuman. They're going all in on everything now. It's just a productivity platform. Everybody is trying to be a platform company now. With Grammarly Pro subscription, Superhuman Go, how many users does Grammarly Pro have? Available to subscribers for no extra cost through February 1st, 2026, but Superhuman has not yet confirmed exact pricing for it beyond that date. New name from email app Superhuman, which they acquired. I think it's a great name. Like, a great way to start thinking bigger. Have a bigger vision. Because they gotta compete. They cannot win on Grammarly, so this is a great move. Live on a Superhuman banner. Even the Grammarly logo has been replaced to reflect the company's identity as a productivity AI brand. Quick turnaround for Superhuman Mail acquisition just a few months ago, but according to Levinsky, it was not the motivating reason. The rebrand has been in the works since late last year when Grammarly acquired Coda. The problem is the sidebar is ChatGPT Atlas. That is the problem. The sidebar, the Grammarly sidebar is... After the company's rebranding standalone writing tool, Grammarly still exists by taking a backseat as Superhuman shifts its focus to offering an AI agent-powered work platform that works in every tab of your browser and knows enough about what's going on to offer useful suggestions. With connections to over 100 apps, it can offer contextual help like scheduling meetings based on a Google Calendar's availability or getting the details in a pitch right based on info. Helping me with are just far greater than original Grammarly Go product was able to do because it was mainly focused on writing use cases. 30 million daily active users across free and paid users, the claim serving more than 70,000 organizations worldwide. 30 million users and 70,000 professionals team worldwide. Acquiring a CEO and a new brand is one for the history books. I'm so bullish, man. Great brand for the product suite, honestly. Yes. The first version of AI empowered people to ask questions and get answers. The future of AI goes one step further with proactive personal assistants that run in the background and do useful things for you. We built email assistant with this in mind, excited for more people to try. Someone who grew up gripped by a DDO-esque obsession with the city, it pains me to admit that San Francisco for the first time feels like the center of the world. Center of the world, this is so curious to me. Backseat to innovation, SF starts feeling like the main stage. Jason Liu. We know Jason Liu. Yes. Worrying about the future is not trusting of your future self. The future version of me will only be more capable, smarter. It will just be easier for that person. I have no evidence that I make worse decisions over time or that I can figure things out. If many of us behave as our future selves, we're totally incapable. That if we don't stockpile resources now, we'll be helpless. It's a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Without it, it can be so easy to get stuck at local maximums, clinging on to current progress. Resources, reputation, all risk becomes threatening to the current position. The future version of me will only be more capable and smarter. Worrying about the future is not trusting of my future self. So good. You are only as good as your last feature. I spoke at NVIDIA yesterday about Figure and why solving vision robotics.
You know, a lot of people talk about Tesla and Optimus, and what they may not know is that Figure AI has emerged as a startup from a small startup to a real leader in humanoid robotics. We heard you earlier this morning jamming with Jensen about the things you're doing with NVIDIA to put you at the front of that pack. Tell us a little bit about Figure, where you are, and how the relationship with NVIDIA is so potent in really launching you into a leadership position here.
Figure is trying to basically build humanoid robots that can do everything a human can. You can't code your way on that problem. Mathematically, we have like 40 different joints in a robot that can ultimately be in. I mean, every joint it's a motor, can move like 360 degrees. So you basically have 360 to the power 40 equals the number of states the robot can possibly have, but basically body positions. Yeah. It's like more than atoms in the universe. So it's just you can't. You have to solve two donuts. And so for us, we have this like kind of phrase we use where we're trying to get AI body, and to do everything a human can. So that means everything from pre-training, like we have to basically build like large-scale data collection efforts of human-like data to be training. We use NVIDIA there. And then that means at test time, when we're running policies on robot, we're doing inference on NVIDIA GPUs on robot without any network connection. So we can basically run robots in full end-to-end situations, like doing work without any network outside. So for us, we think of ourselves like an AI business. We happen to be building like these physical agents around the world, like similar web agents, basically just like in the physical world touching things. And NVIDIA's been a very significant partner and investor of ours, and I think they will be significant in the future as well.
And you guys today, just give people a sense as to where you are. When did we heard 1 million, robots out at Amazon. Like, how should we be thinking about how many humanoid robots you guys are going to be producing, 2 or 3 years out?
I think to be candid, the problem that the entire space feels for humanoids is you have to solve like a general purpose robot. Yeah. You have to be able to like just talk to it and have it do anything you want it to do in unseen locations. That problem is not solved. That problem is 10 times, 50 times, 100 times harder than making a humanoid robot. Yeah. In my view. So the hill we need to climb, or the hill we're trying to climb now, is how do we build a horizontal AI stack that can do everything a human can. And quite frankly, we have robots that are working in the commercial market as of right now, like to this very moment. And it's been really good for us to get those lessons learned, but it also gave us insight to build like what is the right technology stack to go build. And that technology stack is like end-to-end deep learning. And so I think for us, we're trying to help find that problem. In parallel, we've now announced BotQ this year, which is our basically high-scale manufacturing facility out in California. We do all final assembly testing and robot shipping from there. And that problem is hard. It's more like a consumer electronics manufacturing problem, but it's not. It dwarfs in comparison to solving a general-purpose humanoid robot, which is just like on the surface, just an incredibly hard problem. It's tractable. It's an approachable problem, but that's the problem we need to solve first. And then from there, we need to figure out how to manufacture at scale. That's like heavy automation.
I don't know why the first thing I always think about whenever CEO is over here, I'm like, hey, we have an important problem to solve. You have such an important problem, big company to work on. The company is dying every single day if you are not trying to increase revenue. And for you to sit in a massive panel and waiting for your turn to speak, I find that very interesting. Like, that is very interesting. But yeah, Brett is over here, massive partnership with Jensen Huang. Jensen, again, he spends a lot of time in public. He's spending a lot of time with announcements right now, because announcements is really important. You got to keep showing that you are taking the lead, you are in charge of whatever is happening right now. So really cool.
We need robots built for in-game manufacturing, and we're doing it now in-house. So we figure out how to build NDS systems, how we build lines, how we do end-to-line testing, how we deliver it to customer, and make that better and validated. So we're basically trying to get good at manufacturing while we're trying to solve the problems of like how do we solve how do we basically solve general bugs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Solving the AI is way harder than solving the hardware. Does that imply you see a path to an acceptable BM cost after you scale to 15,000 bots a year, or will it take even more scaling to get there? Will announce our parent company, formerly known as Grammarly, will now be known as Supreme, the email app that we all know and will love. It's kind of really cool. I think even Rahul would be happy that this product Superhuman Mail is now being used when the same company owns Coda, when the same company owns Superhuman Mail, when the same company owns something like Grammarly. You can build this very beautiful ecosystem around, but the only problem is the tech debt. Coda was built by a different team, Superhuman was built by a different team, Grammarly was built by a different team. So the only problem is the tech debt, but you have users. So what you can also do is you can like restart from zero. You can recreate this entire ecosystem from ground up again if you want to. But that is the beautiful part over here, that the ecosystem is something that you were missing. And same thing is something that Notion tried to do now. Notion tried to acquire, what was the company they acquired? Something with C. They acquired a company with C. I forgot, but that became Notion. That became Notion Calendar, and then they acquired Swift. That became Notion Mail. So very interesting stuff. Okay, all right, we got 1x. Just open up pre-orders for the new humanoid bot. It's specifically designed for Atom use. The pitch is not for manufacturing or security or some other highly specialized enterprise use case. 1x wants to fold your laundry, load your dishwasher, and grab you a beer after a long day. I'm generally down both with the idea of a robot walking around my house and also with 1x being the company to make this happen. Yes, there are privacy issues, but those don't really bother me personally. I'm already happy to have cameras around my house for security purposes and facing me while I drive my car, because I use a Comma.ai self-driving aftermarket kit. But what if I told you 1x was planning to use teleoperation? This has surfaced a few times as a sort of bombshell caution on the company, but I think this strategy is completely reasonable. There is no massive trove of humanoid robot action data out there to train on. Household tasks have so many little long-tail exceptions and out of distribution and anomalies that one-shotting them with an end-to-end machine learning system in 2025 feels less impossible. I believe Figure AI claims to have done this, but I haven't seen evidence that they are shipping or these claims have been independently validated. The particular level of AI employed by these humanoid robotics companies does matter over the long term, but much less so over the short term. Teleoperation requires paying a human salary for the cleaning work that the robot is doing. You now have capex and opex in your cleaning operation. It's not ideal, but the math can still work out. Use very cheap labor from other countries. This could at some point become a political issue, but not until hundreds of thousands of these teleoperated robots have been deployed. If teleoperated robots become widespread, you would expect to see downward pressure on American low-skilled wages. Teleoperation is the ultimate thing that America could want. America gets cheap labor without the problem of immigration. Teleoperation 1x robots is the ultimate is solving the ultimate American problem: cheap labor without the immigration problems. This will be slow though, because there will be some Jevons paradox effects that where the total amount of home cleaning in America increases as the average price falls. Exactly, because today people are not cleaning their homes as regularly. So if you have more cleaning services, people will clean more. The big question for 1X and really all the humanoid robotic companies is how they can thread the needle of customer adoption and capital consumption to win the robotics race. Long-term vision once of new technologies where really nail everything perfectly. Humanoid robotics could look like the self-driving car rollout or the virtual reality headset rollout. It could take years to see satisfied customers, low churn, and accelerating economics. It's certainly exciting to see a company really jump forward and put a plan in place for gathering proper heaps of real-world humanoid data, but I'm not sure anyone knows exactly how fast the teleoperation can be removed from the system in favor of fully end-to-end AI systems. Waymo has famously been very careful in dialing back the level of human involvement in self-driving cars. For years and years, there was always a human in the driver's seat. Switched to teleoperation and have been operating at high levels of abstraction over the fleet, but still very much including humans in the loop in one way or another. Waymo started 16 years ago. It's still not widely profitable or anything close to that. Balancing that insane investment required to deliver some of these frontier technologies like self-driving cars, VRs, LLMs is difficult even when you have $1 trillion search engine to fund it. Going after these opportunities in the private markets as a startup is way harder, but it's exactly why venture capitalists exist. Let's sign up for the newsletter. I'm surprised I am not signed up for the newsletter, but now we are. Alright, and we'll remove this thing. Delete. Yes, alright. We just want to make things simpler and simpler, especially if you are very cheap labor from other countries, which to be fair is already how the home cleaning market works. Congratulations on the 1X team on the launch. Your lace is open. But this is cool. Dar is a good looking man. CEO of Mooncake Chips, luxury goods verified. Previously head of comms, House VC. Whoa, Tesla, Apple. Okay. Web3. Bluefin app. Okta, IBM, UC Berkeley, Free Ventures. UC Berkeley's your equity startup accelerator.
Luxury brands lose more to counterfeiting than most countries' entire GDP. Current authentication methods fail because they can be copied. Mooncake changes this. We embed NFC chips into luxury goods that link to unique NFTs on the blockchain. One tap verifies authenticity instantly, making counterfeiting mathematically impossible. I was on the 12-volt battery team at Tesla, helped build solar-powered charging pods, providing Wi-Fi and power to impoverished communities in Central America, and went to UC Berkeley. I also helped grow multiple blockchain companies, including Bluefin, a decentralized exchange, from 0 to over 80,000. I understand both the technical complexities and the community trust needed to make this work. We're starting with high-end fashion, then expanding to watches and collectibles. Every luxury item becomes its own validator. We're at Mooncake, and we're making authenticity unbreakable.
The city doesn't wait for you to announce you're raising, it just decides you are. Oh my god. Oh, that's why it's shorts.
This bag costs $12,000 or $12. Can you tell if it's real? Well, now you can.
Prime intellect. I'm gonna make knockoff mooncakes. Madison Kana, learning out loud. Eng, Bastian.co. Bastian.co. I know Bastian.co. Bastion. Inference is everything. Okay. Why is nobody talking about the guy who is behind her Just standing. Crazy start of the day. Reason market cap is now greater than the GDP of every country in the world except US and China. Totally normal. 5.12 trillion. Shopify is now bigger than Royal Bank, and the precedents aren't good. Okay. Solving Shopify's misery. How Canada's tech savior lost its swagger and why investors remain so scared. Dumb tall poppy syndrome articles like this is why all the stock market returns accrue to American investors. Me drowning in green arrow go up. They've been sipping too much haterade. Personally mentored by Elon. You got 5 words, some your service. Please buy my thing, Cliff. Since tripling, how busy people write books. Real time mentions millions of podcasts. Memory lane to founder insights. Please buy my thing, Cliff. Okay, this was good. Founder CEO plead. Founder of Signaturely. Okay, I think we hit the we hit the 30 minutes mark, but yeah. Introducing Cursor 2.0. Oh my god, this is the next level thing. I think Cursor trying to... I think this is the next level thing. Everybody's trying to be the browser. And Cursor could become the browser as well. It's like we are the browser that's focused for developers, especially for coding. So what a first coding model and the best way to code with agents. Composer is a frontier coding model that completes tasks in under 30 seconds. Okay. Is you run the same prompt across models for maximum intelligence. For maximum intelligence across multiple models. Composer 1, Sonnet 4.5, and their Composer model. Okay, with the built-in browser, agents can now run and test their code. Okay, turn speech into code with voice mode. First test drive, it's fast. Then delete the entire file without telling me. Great. Awesome. Holy shit. Composer software engineering ability improves with RL training. TLDR Composer model. 4x faster similarly intelligent models finishing in 30 seconds. Multi-agent interface, new interface design focused on agents on files. Developers can run many agents in parallel to compare. There's no built-in browser tool that lets Cursor natively test and iterate its own solution. OpenAI may IPO as soon as 2027. When Elon flips the switch on FSG and Robotaxi, it will be game over overnight. Probably could make a lot of money shorting Uber into Tesla, but I am a long only kind of guy. Tesla autonomous. Okay. Tesla Waymo. Comparison Tesla versus Waymo Robotaxi geofence map on in Austin, Texas. Today Tesla expanded the geofence for the first time in 2 months. Might spread faster than any technology, but the hardware foundations have been laid for such a long time that a software update enables self-driving for millions of pre-existing cars in a short period of time. Grip quite literally changed my life. Talent Whisperer. Oh my god, another one. Today we are releasing a written profile of Graham Duncan, free to all, one of the most interesting people I have met and one of my favorite people, period. His investing career is singular, so the lessons detailed here are unique, especially source. Enjoy. Colossus review. His space investable. 100 leaders. Graham Duncan, talent whisperer. Concert group quite literally changed my life. Bree Wilson, CMO, Some VC, building cursor, used to Stripe, Stripe Press Figma, and wax about company culture. Kool-Aid Factory, 1/3 Red Queen Pod. One related thing Graham embodies that I most aspire to improve in is the John Keats concept of negative capability, or the ability to hold multiple perspectives at once and observe a situation or person without imposing yourself on it. A willingness to wait and delay knowing. A willingness to wait and delay knowing. In the past, when a CEO needed air cover for layoffs or a strategy change, they would hire McKinsey to tell them they already knew and then point to consultants. Now, they all point to where, but it's equally untrue. Cheaper than McKinsey. Most badass police fleet. Las Vegas PD, a year in fuel maintenance costs alone. It's kind of beautiful. Amazon Web Services. Project Rainer, the world's most powerful AI supercomputer, is here transforming AI development. Oh my god, it's getting really cold in here. Oh, I thought they paint their... I thought they paint the supercomputers pink. That is interesting. Alright. It's true everyone is talking manufacturing, but that's not sizing the timeline. The 100x harder problem is solving general robotics, building a robot that's truly autonomous and general purpose. It's hard for the public to see real progress when most humanoids today are actually teleoperated behind the scenes without disclosure, basically self-driving cars secretly steered by a remote driver. Consumers can't tell the difference between full autonomy and a human puppet. I really hope this stops as its peak deception is harming the entire industry. Our focus is on full autonomy. It's an incredibly difficult but a tractable problem. It's the only path to a cypher future. Solve general robotics and you win. Solving general purpose AI for human robotics is 10 to 100 times harder than making the humanoid robots. Very interesting. Very interesting. The story hit so hard. One day, Jobs came into the cubicle of Larry Kenyon, an engineer who was working on the Macintosh operating system, and complained that it was taking too long to boot up. But Jobs cut him off. If it could save a person's life, would you find a way to shave 10 seconds off the boot time? Probably could. And showed them if there were 5 million people using the Mac and took 10 seconds extra to turn it on every day, that added up to 300 million or so hours per year that people would save, which was equivalent at least 100 lifetime save per year. Larry was suitably impressed, and a few weeks later he came back and it booted up 28 seconds faster. Steve had a way of motivating by looking at the bigger picture. I never felt the timeline to be as loud as it has been today. For some reason, it's like everyone decided to drop the life of their once fundraising, launching, rebranding, quitting, joining, an entire economy announcement, screaming over each other. Holy shit! I'm being trapped indoors by the quarter. This is meta. Nvidia is now worth more than 2 Canadas. Oh my god, this picture is sick. The only 2 countries that have bigger GDP than Nvidia's market cap are US and China. Okay, this is a joke, but what if in 24 months it was real? Maybe $100 million hedge fund that will outperform Jane Street Renaissance Technologies, make no mistakes. What if we ask ChatGPT this question? Okay, ChatGPT, build me $100 billion. Alright, let's go. Let's do it. Okay, here's a zero fluff precision architecture for hedge fund designed to reach 100 billion AUM and outperform Jane Street and Renaissance Tech. Systems engineer, philosopher, capital allocator. Become the AI augmented meta allocator of human and algorithmic intelligence. Principle 1. Radical informational efficiency. Every decision from trade to hire must close the information gap faster than anyone else. Principle 2. Continuous learning loops. The fund is in living organism. Models and people co-evolve daily. Convexity. More than prediction. Focus on asymmetric payouts rather than being right. Research OS. Unified data plus model lab. Auto-generate test hypothesis across macro, quant, and all data universes. Layer 2. Execution and liquidity engine. Global market making, cross-menu routing, latency adaptive strategies with reinforcement learning on live order flow. Meta portfolio allocator aggregates signals into optimal capital routing. Bayesian optimizer balancing risk, liquidity, and correlation and entropy. Governance and culture, small elite incentive aligned teams, 8200 polymaths compensated by internal capital tokens. Capital platform, external LPs, internal compounders. Multi-tier LP structure with on-chain transparency for allocators. Market microstructure alpha, adapt liquidity provision using transformer-based order booking embeddings. Predict next check imbalance and latent liquidity withdrawal. Cross-asset statistical learning, train foundation models of 50 years of multi-asset data. Embed macro narratives, central banks transcribe satellite shipping for regime detection. Synthetic risk premia factory, auto-generated and backtest factor portfolios carries cube convexity, crowding. Macro discretionary, human AI desks, trade geopolitical energy, tech inflation points, AI map scenario trees, human PMs decide allocation, private to public continuum. Vision market structure, energy, compute, AI infra, technology architecture, data lake, model pipeline, simulation environment, execution layer, AI ops, security, talent structure, chief architect, vision, meta allocation, head of research, head of execution, philosopher in residence, keeps epistemology honest, Discord mathematicians, ML safety experts, capital partner relations, storytellers for LPs, AI engineer guild 24/7 model evolution crew, 0 to 2 years focus, infrastructure proprietary alpha, sharp more than 3 to 5, capital platform, AI macro, daily liquidity model scaling, information halftime, model evolution velocity, models learn faster than competitors, humans, integrated data rights, own exclusive data feeds, talent flywheel, best mind join because the system itself compounds their intelligence, meta risk engine, internal GPT based auditors stress test every assumption, cultural gravity mission, be the brain of global capital allocation, immediate next steps, form a holdco plus fund 1, Delaware Cayman structure, recruit 5 core builders, ML researcher, infra lead, quant PM, legal counsel, CFO, AI research sandbox, establish capital network, family offices, sovereign fund relationships, publish abundance through intelligence manifesto to attract talent and LPs. Create it, abundance through intelligence. Manifesto for the next era of capital allocation. We live in an age where information moves faster than thought, yet meaning lags behind. Markets hum with algorithms, but few understand what they serve. And vitality, vitals, vitals. This is beautiful. It looks like a beautiful day today. Okay, finally. We believe capital is humanity's most powerful instrument of intelligence, and intelligence, in turn, is the path to abundance. Intelligence is not owned, it is emergent. It arises whenever feedback loops evolve faster than entropy. Our mission is to build systems that learn faster than they decay. Our mission is to build systems that learn faster than they decay, to turn data into understanding, understanding into foresight, and foresight into abundance. We see every trade, every data point, every model not as an act of speculation, but as a micro experiment in accelerating the intelligence of civilization. Markets aren't machines, they are evolving ecosystems of attention, belief, and adaptation. Those who try to predict them perish in their rigidity. Those who learn with them, who evolve at their tempo, thrive. We do not fight volatility, we harvest information density from it. We do not seek certainty, we cultivate adaptability. Every fluctuation is a signal, every dislocation a lesson. From alpha to understanding, traditional hedge funds chase alpha through secrecy. We seek understanding through synthesis. Our models speak across modalities, language, vision, behavior, flow. They learn not just what moves, but why it moves. We train our systems not to predict price, but to build moral intelligence itself. Human, algorithmic, collective. Abundance is a moral imperative. You gotta tweet this. Abundance is moral imperative. We reject scarcity as a world where scarcity thinking produces fear, fear breeds short-termism, short-termism destroys civilization. Abundance is not excess, it is a natural state of intelligence unblocked. We allocate capital toward technologies that expand energy, computation, and human potential. Technologies that expand energy, computation, human potential. Each investment is a bet on the expansion of possibility. Each return is a measure of how much more intelligent the world has become. The human in the loop. Machines optimize, humans aspire. Allocate capital toward technologies that expand energy, computation, and human potential. Each investment is a bet on the expansion of human possibility. Each return is a measure of how much more intelligent the world has become. Machines optimize, humans aspire. We believe in symbiosis, not replacement. Our analysts and models learn from each other in real time, for the ultimate intelligence is hybrid. Logic with intuition, precision with vision. We recruit polymaths, philosophers, and engineers alike, because in the long term, curiosity compounds faster than capital. Long-termism as strategy. Our horizons is decades, not quarters. We measure success not by performance alone, but how much smarter a system becomes each year. We reinvest every lesson into the next iteration. I think this is beautiful. Abundance is moral imperative. I think it's also beautiful how once you are using ChatGPT everywhere, you can keep this is the compounding mechanism. Now you can keep compounding every single day. You measure success not by performance alone, but how much smarter a system becomes each year. We invest every lesson into the next iteration, compounding knowledge as relentlessly as capital. This is how we will outlearn every competitor, and doing so, reshape the global flow of capital toward intelligence itself, our North Star. When markets evolve, we evolve faster. When informations flow, we refine our perception. When the world hesitates, we act with... This is beautiful. When the world hesitates, we act with clarity. We do not manage money, we orchestrate intelligence. And through that intelligence, we will create an era of compounding abundance, for investors, for people, for humanity. Abundance through intelligence, because the future belongs to those who learn fastest. This is cool. I'm curious. Is there an abundance capital? Abundance investment. Abundance capital, okay. Direct message. Conservative abundance at work. Thank you. This was really cool. Yeah, I think again, like, by investing in one LLM, you're investing in this entire process. You're investing in this entire mechanism of using AI for doing something cool, and you are you're compounding your relationship with an LLM. The force of going to be destroyed by AI will be Salesforce. CRM is easy. No, I think it could be way better. Nice. Best ways to find a founding engineer: go watch a bunch of Casey Marathon videos last time. I feel like I can do anything. The amount of enterprise value captured by OpenAI is irrelevant 2025 versus the amount of value captured by Nvidia and maybe Microsoft, and all of that is utterly dwarfed by consumer surplus. If you look at the AI corporate revenue, Nvidia's 2025 rev is about 120 billion, Microsoft 245, OpenAI's analyzed it's about 8.6. Split across 345 million people in the US, that's about $1,000 per person per year being captured by the AI companies. I'm arguing the average person is already getting more than $1,000 a year of real value from ChatGPT in time saved, work, accelerated output they couldn't make before. So if the consumer benefit per person, $1,000 is already bigger than corporate capture per person, then yes, regular people are actually getting more net value from AI than the companies are. I'm not trying to be a bootlicker lol. You can say, well, that value is not monetized, but I can make a rock solid case. It has given me personally more than $1,000 value already. That's a good one. Boston considered becoming the first major city in the world to ban fully autonomous vehicles based entirely on vibes. Waymo's involved in 5x fewer injury causing collisions than humans, and employment in SF's taxi and industry grew by 7% last year. Seems like further deliberation is needed. Comms at Waymo. Milltown Partners, NYC Government, Capitol Hill, Cat Dad, Wife Guy, Pro Yapper, Anime Enjoyer. RV and AI bubble slow down adoption measures suggest that AI adoption is slowing down from RAM subscription data. The Schiller Cape ratio is at the highest level since 990s.com. Rebutes fears of AI bubble as he lines up partners by Bloomberg. This is it. Tell me more. Yes, I accept. Oh my god. Oh. Psh. Summarize this article. First $5 trillion firm. Can you do it? Can you do it? Oh my god, you can do it. Nvidia CEO, this is like a middle finger to every media publication. I don't know if it's good or bad. Right now it's good because I am getting information, but we don't know. Alright, let's see. AI market is not a bubble, saying that many AI models in use are already being paid for by customers. Latest chips, the Blackwell Accelerator and the Rubin model, are driving what you call an inflection point for Nvidia, with plans to ship 20 million units of the latest generation versus 4 million units of the prior generation, aiming 500 billion in revenue from them. Nvidia showcased a series of new partnerships in Washington and Uber, self-driving vehicle applications, Palantir, logistics AI, CrowdStrike, cybersecurity, Europe and telecoms, $1 billion investment in Nokia. Yeah, what is this? What is this? Why did Nvidia invest in Nokia? Build out sovereign AI systems, justification of the massive investments and chips being produced. Part of a broader trend of AI becoming critical infrastructure, not just high, while acknowledging trade headwinds, export restriction in China, entering a virtuous cycle or inflection point rather than facing a bubble risk. Sufficiently monetized infrastructure build-outs will scale. Companies' chip business could justify its large valuation and avoid a bubble-type collapse. Hints at risk: high shipments and revenue targets imply large capital expenditure, and dominance by a few customers' data centers means exposure to shifts in AI spending. Will the pace of real monetization match the hype? For other players in the AI ecosystem, hardware, software, services, claim of reaching an inflection point suggests competition will pick up, infrastructure demand could accelerate. For you, how deep AI infrastructure is becoming. Even if you are more used to software token models, hardware and chips are part of the stack that underpins the future. Nvidia invests 1 billion, 2.9% stake, strategic partnership. Nokia's data center switching optical technologies may be incorporated into Nvidia's future AI infrastructure. Will use the proceeds from the investment to accelerate its strategic plans to advance trusted connectivity for the AI supercycle. Tapping into the AI connectivity frontier, the integration of AI with telecom networks and data centers seen as a major growth area. The joint documents state a forecasted AI RAN market expected to exceed 200 billion by 2030 by aligning with Nokia. Beyond pure chips into the network and connectivity layer. As one commentary said, the deal enables Nokia to its own stack, ecosystem control, competitive positioning, AI compute, deeper into the value chain. No ambition to become a 5G software vendor per se, but it does need equipment vendors like Nokia to adopt its compute architecture networks. A lot of it is just chemistry, strategic positioning, telecommunication technology back to America, and creating the basis for AI native wireless era. For Nvidia, securing this relationship bolsters dominance in AI infrastructure globally. Substantial cash infusion, data center networking, next generation connectivity, accelerate its RAN network to run on Nvidia hardware, increasing flexibility, performance, and potentially opening new markets. Partnership gives Nokia credible footing. Attracted to investors and operators, the market responded. Nokia shares jumped. Execution risk, translating the partnership into commercial products, will take time. Okay. This put Nokia and Nvidia into close alignment, but also puts pressure on rivals in both telecom network space and AI compute space. Okay. Yeah, what is this? Justifies large valuation. High shipments of target supply, large capital expenditure, dominance by few customers means exposure to shifts in AI spending. Interesting. It's actually really cool that someone like John Coogan is ingesting a lot of information but also creating a lot of information. I think that is really valuable when you are involved in ingesting a lot of information. People do want to know that, okay, what is happening now? How are you gonna use this information? Multipliers and share prices will fall, no doubt. Keep your eye on AI revenues from OpenAI, Anthropic, Cursor. Skinny, soft, quiet robot assists homeowners in doing the chores. It's worth watching the launch. Because we should ask people what they want to do with a robot in their homes. They don't mention doing kung fu, radical dancing, but other things like laundry, dishes, cooking, cleaning, help around the home. For taking robots to word, entrepreneurs now are moving past just tricks to get social media hype to word. This will make your life easier and better. That's why I want one.
He's very important to everyone. Hey, good to see you.
Once a busboy, always a husband.
From Denny's to DC. From Denny's to DC. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's incredible. The best for Cinder Fluminense about quantum. Anything you would like to revise? We're about ready to launch our quantum panel here about how NVIDIA thinks about quantum.
I gotta tell you, I'm afraid to say a word. You said quantum. The stock price goes up.
Can we get Buddy to say Bitmine? Lol, Jensen is awesome. Okay. Apparently, Nvidia. When I think from the perspective of those living in the year 2500, I imagine they will look back on the moment humanity realized they were the first generation who wouldn't die. What's weird clanker? What is happening on Farcaster? Let's see. Farcaster. I think I signed up on Farcaster, so it should get me in. Alright, let's see. We are here. Notifications. Someone liked our post. I got some likes. Who's not following? Who am I not following here? Okay, me and on the base app. Okay. Free mint. A lot of stuff is happening over here. Neo. They added a smile to it. Alright, how the Warplet meme sparked a Farcaster NFT frenzy. Cheeky nickname for Farcaster in a wallet Warplet. A holdover from the Warpcast era. Holdover. Yet now, it's also the name of Angel, Warplet's guy. Co-founder, Resolve, Spatial Tech for Construction. Livecaster. I just want us to have fun. Exploring a top Farcaster since Sunday. Analysis by if Farcaster NFT season is kicking off. It's started right here. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. New NFT collection that's boomed the top Farcaster since Sunday. It began here. The context. Earlier this year, Farcaster co-founder Dan Miller was toying around with a Warplet wallet mascot, which he CCO'd. What is CCO'd? The team vetoed this Warplet mascot, so now releasing as CC0. Do not let the board see this. I bet I could sell $100 worth of that critter in 24 hours. Okay. Resolve VR app and the creator of Farcaster mini apps like Livecaster or HarmonyBot unveiled the Warplet NFT Met. Takes your unique Farcaster ID and your current profile picture that remixes your PFP with Warplet mascot into a unique NFT. Portion of the mint fee goes to buying and burning Clanker token, which the target was HarmonyBot's Sky's coin, after which they bones to the community created Warp. One click sharing of your Warplet to your timeline. The generated NFT promptly appears in the OpenSea marketplace, led to Warplets exploding across Farcaster and immediate secondary trading surge. Purely kickups led to pause and reopening Farcaster Pro subs early on. The drop is still open, but some users are having trouble. I've seen a few familiar Farcaster faces unable to mint a Warplet. First, I want to fix the issues preventing that. Only once I feel good about smooth mints. Well, I set a mint close date. Will expand the mint criteria until then. If you have hung out around here, you have made this a better place, and I will do my best to make sure you get a Warplet. Big picture. Overnight. Demonstrate among the best places to do that today is Farcaster mini apps. The distribution potential with on-chain diehards and veterans is second to none. It seems like there will be an uptick now at NFT drops catered to FIDs and Farcaster Pro subscribers. So new directions, rerolls, mini games. To me, what's most striking about this episode is how it happened. A meme, a mini app, some clicks. Farcaster community had a new shared story. It's a glimpse of what's to come to on-chain culture. That is really cool. That is really cool. Okay, what is Dan talking about? Looking to get connected to someone at DeFi Llama. I have not opened Sora Atlas after the first day of using either. Most great companies can only ship one hit product. Most future products are acquisitions. Pre-PMF, lol. Most great companies can Sora or Atlas. If you Google Warplet, you can see how good Bankless SEO is. Liquidated. Made on Imagine. Input from traders. Have you run into issues trading tokens in Uniswap V4 pool, Clanker V4 tokens? Starts writing at 40. First script is Sicario. $1 billion writing to GGWP. What is GGWP? Shoot or shoot. Did he always want to write or just never made the time for it? Or was it something brand new he wanted to try and coincidentally was cracked at it? Oh, my hands are frozen. What is GGWP? I don't know. GGWP? Good game, well played. GGWP. Okay. Forecaster app is down. Investigating. Other than dog, none of these words are in the Bible. Base stocks we're thinking on exclusive meant for the first Pixel dog NFT collection on X randomized by Chainlink. Forecaster Pro accounts only. How does that sound? Choo choo. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, people are going all in. Trying to visit every wallet on base. When Choo Choo is in your wallet, you get to decide where he goes next on the board. Yoink. Did I yoink? I don't know. I don't know how that works. Like a naked mole rat with cat ears. I don't think this is any better than yours. Oh, this is my buddy. This is my buddy, Syed. At the office tomorrow when Warbler mascot driven signups come in. The safest path is entrepreneurship. Go build something curious. Go build something. AI tools' purpose is to reduce the gap between imagination and reality. There are people using these tools to reshape reality. You can be one of them. It's a very exciting world. Don't look for safety. It's an illusion. Unfold your sails and take to the seas. He's talking like a pirate. Advising a widely talented 17-year-old who wanted the safest path to the upper middle class, what college major would you recommend? I genuinely don't know. The world is changing a lot. It's probably not a computer science. Maybe it's mechanical engineering or math. Tyra Woodward. Skip college entirely, learn AI deeply, work in any role at a company in a field that excites you. I would advise them to aim for something more meaningful than the safest path at the upper middle class. I don't know. What I do know is that you will be making all your decisions to avoid short-term feelings of bad and not get to where you want. You're allergic to making any mentally tough decision when there is also an option to do nothing. Then they came up with the reasons for why it's so good to not do the thing, and all the friends would agree because they don't want the ability to make a tough decision be something they would ever need to consider. But I made so many tough decisions now. When choosing university, you had to choose, otherwise you become a social outcast. When finding a job, you had to, just to pay bills. Ultra problematic couple that didn't break up for 5 years, destroying 5 years of their lives on living deep issues. It takes huge hits to the quality of living because it's so comfortable to take no action. Not until you get a reason to hate your job or until your partner cheats do you act. Remember that most people are not value aligned with you. They try to make you happy short term, not long term. The moment they see emotion in you, they will stop helping and start help you cope instead. 1% of people end up in misery because they took the wrong action. 90% people because there is no action. I don't want to hear any excuses. All numbers are against you. Go act, be free, live well. It will take suffering. Nothing is free. Don't wait for it. Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. the firm that worked on the rebrand watching this like is what he keeps trying to push his creations of Oplet and his cousin Molly. What is this? We just scaled base from you're still doing that thing with the internet coins? Candlesticks. Okay. Wow. Techno Watermelon. Elder Millennial. Building Forecaster. Forecaster Professional. A lot of work to make this feel great, even Forecaster. I wonder why they don't invite this guy to parties. Integrate Forecaster DCs. Okay. Com support. Forecaster chats and message history in the app plus indefinite full message backup. Markdown support. Comms also support DMs and communities. Com.app is only possible on mobile. I'm really curious what is happening with XMTP. More secure private messaging. What is happening? We have no idea. Oh, it seems like it's dead. You should try a base app built on XMTP fully encrypted. Man, signal is someone please, for the love of Zaid Dean Zidane, private messaging, send a service P2P. I'll fund. Okay, okay. It was coming, wow, man, soon. Okay. The switchboard. Okay. Community would come. Let any and all builders across have a key that has 24/7 access. Call it the switchboard. Pop-ups are the new startups. Cursor, Anthropic, AngelList, Coinbase, Zcash, Basecamp. I unboxed the Ethereum 4 and it's sick. Whoa, 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 whoa. Changes everything.
Looks like this is a recovery card for sale. Looks like got everything here. Laser works, makes cool sound side effect as well. Let's see the DJ App Store. Let's see, yeah. Mine's 420 DJ app. Let's find something. Maybe not. Okay, this is reported from far. I bought a depot building on. And we got it. These devices literally had no coordination or planning. We are building on open protocols. Can you believe this works? Wow. This is why we do it, everybody. And there's so much work we need to do. Obviously, like in this use case, just an example, but the idea that someone somewhere else in the world could get this device with no coordination and then message me on the base app. We had no partnership, no nothing. That's awesome. So cool. Man, I love crypto. I love this industry. I love builders. Well, this is the DGen one. If you want to buy one, you can. They're on sale now. It's awesome to see because it's open source. It's built on Ethereum. It's built on Base. It's built by a 3 or 4 person team. So huge shout out to the Freedom Factory team who built DGen 1. Really excited to see where they keep going with it. This is crazy. Let's see. So I'm on this DGen 1. We haven't done anything. I mean, I've like supported from afar. I bought a DGen device, but we built the base app on XMTP, which is open protocol for messaging. DGen 1 I actually didn't know they were building on. And so what I'm going to do is I just sent myself a message from my DGen 1.
XMTP is about an open network. The major platforms have literally been killing innovation and not opening up messaging for probably over 15 years. Developers can't build, people can't launch agents, and you can't do a lot of things in messaging that you should be able to do. If you have something that is quantum resistant, one of the most secure messaging protocols in the world, and no company owns the communication between you and I. Open systems matter, and they always have to be. SMS is the way that everyone communicates. And then there's email, two of the most powerful protocols on the internet. Messaging came along, but they all went close. They're not interoperable. And even if you have security, you have no ownership and no control. Now, the fact that any identity can reach each other and still have the security and privacy of what the closed messaging apps have is a huge step forward. Now you can message any identity inside the base app, and the entire chat is built on XMPP, which means that it's encrypted, it's secure, it has quantum resistance, and the user owns it. So if they want to take it with them, they can. The key owns your messages, not the app. If you use another messaging app of XMPP, only from use base, all your messages show up. And that changes the control and ownership of what the user has. And for me, that is the future of the internet. It's all key-based. It's who owns it. Quantum is a thing that in the future could crack our encryption, but if you have an open network where the encrypted data lives and people can see that open network today, then if they start saving all the encryption and in 10 years can crack it, then they can read my messages 10 years from now. So we have to do quantum resistance today, so that if quantum happens or when quantum happens, you can't break the messages. I'm excited to not have to go download 10 different apps to do one thing. It changes everything. Because global money, with secure chat, with AI agents, that surface area is the internet. When we bring that all together and let developers also have the trust to build on an open and decentralized platform, everything's about to change.
Okay, really cool. Good luck, team. Convo's Messenger. Okay. Whoa, real life is off the record. Of the Robinhood website. Track Talk Trade. Messaging app that tracks as much data as its billboard. 0. Messenger. Whoa. Don't download this messenger that does less. No Zucker Musk. No green bubbles, no server farms, no earnings call, no growth hacks, no Tor force, no backdoors, no proprietary, no lock-in. Unzuck your phone that tracks as much data as this billboard. Simple. I like this one. The CDU want to think about just on Android, etc. Just Convo.org. An app that tracks as much data as this billboard. It was like 2 minutes as I edit the copy to a messaging app that tracks as much data as this billboard. 0. Or something like that, because most people need the second nudge. Like, cool. Propaganda is now having fun. Propaganda is now. Headquarters NYCD members Project Ship 31. Scratch off piggy bank. This is cool. This is cool. Sign up for the piggy waitlist. Really cool. Like Brian says, 2 different model. Data not collected. Convos. Okay, cool logo. Cool logo. Everyday private chat for the surveillance age. Pop-up convos. Converse. Convos Messenger. Convos.org. Pop-up a private convo. No sign up, no numbers, no history. J. Mary Drew. Game day. Explodes in 7 hours. You join anonymously as someone. Chat as Emery. Yo. Boom, 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 boom. Don't trust us. Test it. Powered by ChatGPT. Okay. Open source top to bottom, but most people can't read code. Tap code review throughout the site to interrogate our code base with an AI assistant. No sign up. Simply scan, tab, or airdrop into a convo. Convos doesn't require an account ever. No numbers. New you in every convo. Choose how you show up. Set a name, Beck, or just say stay someone. No history. Time bomb your group chat setter. Irreversible countdown until everything explodes. Explode. No spam, no tracking, no server. Real life is off the record. Secured by XMTP. Generated by the same firm, all without a private server. Sensor resistant post quantum secure XMP protocol. Threads, Blue Sky X, TikTok. Real life is off the record, made in the open. Interesting. Interesting. If you obey all the rules, my philosophy is that only responsible for doing the best at this moment puts you in the best. Always so make fun of me only one basically every time I mentally acknowledge how much it improved the quality of my life. Can get really packed sometimes, not a smooth experience depending on where you get on and off. That's one of those these shocking points, never get registers, legitimate cons. Subject to the idea of happiness truly as one person's trash is another person's treasure. Think you're wrong, who cares whether it's cheap or expensive? You know, it doesn't matter. Rip it hard if you're about it. Peace choked sometimes. Very different than .com. The companies have real earnings and business models today. If you go back to .com, they were ideas rather than companies. Shanghai, the biggest market for Starship is point-to-point logistics, but you aren't ready for that conversation. Clanker to flanker. Interesting. How much peace you get once you start depolizing everything instead of worrying about where to eat. A lot of your V1 product, a high-priced, generalist hardware, software AI product is recipe for the highest return rates in history of consumer products. You're better off selling a small number getting to V2. A high-priced generalist hardware, software, AI product is recipe for the highest return rates in history of consumer products. Set it high at first to limit demand. Target a small market, get a wide set of learnings on the smallest possible number of people, then improve for V2 and scale further. Scale of your manufacturing in order. If you sell it to many of your V1 and the product is not beloved, it will bankrupt your company. Goal of V1 is to get to V2. Yeah, you should listen to Will because I'm wearing his whoop right now.
1 billion ton.
The shift to common sense is welcome, but it comes after decades of fear-mongering that harmed young people, stalled development, and punishing dissenting scientists. It makes no sense to skimp on salary incentives to save $100,000 a year when hiring the second best candidate may cost you millions of dollars in lost profit. Importance of recruiting top talent, maintaining long-term reputation, finding context and centering, perfectionism, cognitive therapy, building billion-dollar companies, the role of A players, success, the power of people in business, importance of superior intelligence, the role of passion, success, effective leadership and meetings, feedback loops, continuous improvement, the drive for stress and passion, learning from other entrepreneurs, Smith's legacy and influence, the importance of technology in business, time management.
You had a bunch of mentors, but one of your most important ones, you mentioned I think 4 times in the book, is Ludwig Jespersen. You have a list of maxims in the very beginning of the book that you learned from other people. The maxim that you listed for him was get the major trend right. So if you could just talk about your relationship with him and what he meant to you, I think that's a good place to start.
He meant a lot. So Mr. Jespersen, I never called him Ludwig. Mr. Jespersen is significantly older than me and much more accomplished than me, so show him respect. I call him Mr. Jespersen. Mr. Jespersen was a special guy. This was someone who was deep, very profound, and had lived life fully and by principles. And he was a religious guy. I wouldn't say he was like ultra religious, He was more taking the morality of Judaism, the do's and don'ts and ethical behavior and honesty and so forth, and that became the core of his life. That became the core of his personal life and his business life. Relationships, deep relationships, long-term relationships, honest relationships, relationships you can keep coming back to. And sometimes one person has leverage, sometimes the other person has leverage. Doesn't matter, you don't take advantage of that. It's long-term relationships. And he had about a few dozen deep principles. And one of them is one you just mentioned, which is, because he was a trader, ran the largest commodity trading firm in the world, Philip Brothers, was you got to get the long-term trend right. You can get a lot of other stuff right.
Yeah.
But if you don't get the long-term trend right, you're kind of in trouble. So you gotta figure that one out. You gotta see what's going on here. You need context. You need to see what's happening, what did happen, what is happening, and what will likely happen in the future. And what are the different future states that could happen, and what's the probabilities for each one of those? And then you have your risk management. So yeah, the converse of that is, if you get the major trend wrong, you can do 1,000 things right, you're still gonna lose. You're not gonna create alpha, you're not gonna create value here. So yeah, that was a big lesson for me.
The other thing that I love is you were 23 years old. You're having lunch with him on a very frequent basis. Like you just said, he's so much older. He's one of the most successful people in the world. He's taking an interest in you, and yet you were still comfortable to like unload your stresses and your problems. And you would sit there patiently listening. And then I love his response, where it's just like, yeah, business is problems. Like one of the most important lessons is like problems. There's a line from Henry Kaiser, who was in his day was as famous as like say like an Elon is today, or you're becoming. And he started 100 different companies. He built the Hoover Dam. He built Liberty ships for the Allies in World War II. And I read a bunch of biographies on him because he was one of Charlie Munger's favorite founders. And he said a line in the biography that's in multiple life stories about him, that problems are just opportunities and work close. And so I read your accounting in your book, some of your lunches with Mr. Justison. It's like, oh, he had the exact same, he essentially gave you the same advice.
Yeah. So in the book, I talked about a specific episode when I was having lunch with him, and I was kind of down and glum. And he said, "What's going on?" I was talking about this problem, this thing. I was just kind of down. And he said, "Well, don't stay in the business world if you're going to get down on this stuff. This is the things you should get over."
Yeah.
When you have problems, when you have challenges, you have obstacles. By addressing those, that's how you make money. You make money. So the more problems you have, as long as you can solve them, as long as you figure out how to address them and remove the problem, that's how you're creating value. That's a wonderful way to go through life. Number one, it's a great way to make money, because you're not always down. Because you always have incoming missiles when you're in the business world. You have problems with employees, with competitors, with regular, just all day long you have incoming missiles. You have great stuff too, but in between that is punches to the face. And if you're gonna get beaten up by that, you're not gonna be successful. And secondly, you're not gonna be happy. So you're gonna go through life like glum. You see, sometimes you see these like multi-billionaire guys that always look like this. Well, what's the point of all the money? Seriously. So I would not want to be one of these zillionaire guys who's like frowning all the time, like upset and angry and depressed. That's much more important to me. To be in the right frame of mind, go through the.
David Senra's looking at him crazy.
Happy, reasonably happy. I don't have a perfectionist standard. I have to be like in ecstasy and bliss 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but generally happy.
Did you ever meet Sam Zell when he was alive?
I did. Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, so
Great guy.
He had the same thing. I was lucky enough to have a 2-hour, very intense lunch with him. He said the same, very similar thing to you. He's like, I know all the rich guys. He's like, you wouldn't believe how many are miserable. He's like, don't do that. He's like, I wake up every single day. You guys have a lot of similarity. Like, I'll spend time with you. You know, the very first time I met you when I went to your book launch party, right? I just remember like, oh, this guy's got crazy energy. And I'd already read your book by then. But something that you talk about over and over in your book is like, problems are just opportunities. It reminded me of, there's this line from Jeff Bezos's, there's several books on him, but one of his main biographies is a book called Everything Store. And they said that Jeff, you would tell him problems about his business and he would get excited. Yeah, because he's like, oh, and he talks about the shareholders, like, oh, these are problems. If I solve these problems, this is going to increase the enterprise value of the company that I'm building. These are actually good things to identify and embrace instead of avoid. One of the most important things that I learned from Brad Jacobs is the importance of working with the smartest and most talented people you can. Do really my brother. So he's like, listen, question on your long-term reputation. Okay. So there's this line. Do you remember when Buffett got in all that trouble with Salomon Brothers? He was like, listen, you can lose money, that's fine, but you lose a shred of reputation.
I'll be ruthless.
I'll be absolutely ruthless. It was a very jarring experience for me at your book launch party, because first of all, I was the only one that didn't show up in a suit. So I rectified that today, right? And then everybody else was just like, I've known Brad for 3 decades. Basically every week they were like, you know Brad? I was like, no. I was an investor of his, he made all this money for this pension fund that we run and everything else. And like the stories that I've heard at the party, and then since I released the episode, it's just like, you have a fantastic long-term reputation. Do you have any advice on how you were able to maintain that and how important it was for other people to do the same thing?
Reputation is really important. Your personal brand is extremely important, because based on that, people are going to want to do business with you, or they're going to want to not do business with you. So every day you're in the office and doing stuff, you're either raising your brand or you're lowering your brand. And that's the main thing you got to work on. You got to make sure that your brand reflects integrity and honesty and dependability and stability, and people can count on you. This goes back to Mr. Jefferson. So Philip Brothers, this is before email. This is before, actually it was even before faxes. There was more twixes and telexes. So we took a few days to go through when they went through. So you could do a deal worth hundreds of millions of dollars on a handshake or a phone call. There's no written confirmation of that for like days. In the meantime, maybe the price of whatever you were trading, oil or copper, had gone up a lot. You still had to have a deal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the whole system doesn't work. So dependability is trust is so important to do.
How old were you when you did it? When he gave you that price? Did you immediately start applying it? So you were optimizing for the long term even when you were that young?
Yeah. I think as you get older, you optimize long term more. I think when you're young, you're just so ambitious and you want to get stuff done, you're in the now. As you get older, as you mature, you have more context. I think life in general is about getting more context, seeing things in proportion to other things.
Can you say more about that?
Well, as we've talked about a lot outside of your podcast, I'm into meditation. So a lot of the meditation I do is looking at space from different perspectives, not the normal perspective that we have right now. So I expand my mind from the Earth to the Sun, to the solar system, to the galaxy, to the clusters of galaxies, to the universe, to the multiverse. So way, 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 way high. And then you're all the way back in, and then go into the molecule and the atom and the proton and the nucleus, and we're in the middle of all that. You go to strings. And I find that accordion, make my mind like an accordion getting really big and then really, really small. And they're doing the same thing with time. Looking at time go back towards my life over the last few decades. Then go back centuries and millennia, just keep going way, way, way back, all the way back. 13.8 billion years, go back all the way to the Big Bang. And then go all the way forward, like picture the world going forward. That time and space juxtaposition, for me at least, different things work for different people, gives me context. It gives me humility, it gives me humbleness. It shows that I'm just one thing right here, in a major, major thing going on. I'm just one little tiny thing. At the same time, I'm part of that. So I'm very uplifted, I'm very inspired, I'm very motivated, like, wow, I'm part of like a real big deal here. It's great, we all are. We're all part of this huge thing. So I think context is really important. It gives you meaning, it gives you purpose, it gives you understanding, it gives you wisdom.
I know you hate when I say this because we talked about this prior. It's like you obviously know I study uncommon people for a living, right? Like
You do a great job at it.
I appreciate it.
Unique.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but like think about how crazy it is. Like the people that I study on Founders is they were so good at their job, somebody wrote a book about their life. Like you're talking about very small, but most of their inner monologues, you're different. Have a much more positive energy, and like there's almost like a let me give you some context here. We were together a few months ago at a mutual friend's birthday party in Miami. Our friend Rick. And at the, there's a bunch of interesting people at the party. One of them was Paulo Ono. Okay, Paulo Ono was decorated American Winter Olympian of all time. He's become a friend. I met him through the podcast. And he walks up to me. This is one of the funniest things. And, because he has people that are Olympian, like he was trained since he was a kid. His dad would make him get up at like 5 in the morning and run drills in the school parking lot. But he still comes from like a very positive, he has a great relationship with his dad. Normally it's like, not good when they're put in those circumstances. So he was asking me, he's just like, I can see this pattern in, when you're reading all these hundreds of biographies about these great entrepreneurs that like, there is something inside of them driving them that is actually negative. It could be insecurity, it could be, they grow up in poverty, it could be a bad relationship with their family. And he's like, are they all like that? And you're like 20 feet away, see that guy over there? And I go, you know who that is? He goes, no, I go, that's Brad fucking Jacobs. I was like, I guarantee you, he's not driven by that. This is what I mean. You're uncommon amongst uncommon people because at least from the outside, in the conversation I had, is like, I think part of this impenetrable nature that you have in like, oh yeah, business problems, it's gonna come. What do you think we're doing here? Like, you don't seem to be rattled by that. So like, what is your inner monologue? Like when like, you're doing deals right now, you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You built 8 separate billion-dollar companies. You don't do that by accident. So how do you make like, I'll stop talking about what is your inner monologue?
So it goes back to what Mr. Justin used to say: is problems are your friend.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just tolerate problems. You want to embrace problems. You want to hug problems. Problems are the way you succeed. You want to run to the fire. You want to run away from the fire. Be brave. Be courageous. Go into it. I think you can start with anything that's anything. And in this case, in Paulo's case, he started.
It's incredibly cool when you can. The technology is beautiful today that you can just listen to someone like this who can just change how you think about things.
With and other people's studies start with negativity, trauma, stress, insecurity, fear, anxiety, and then that's their motivator. They zero in on that, and then that makes them run faster.
Was that ever your case?
No, that's not.
You're like a unicorn.
So I don't know that I'm a unicorn. I don't embrace negativity. I'm okay with it, and I don't make a big deal about negativity. I'd much rather enjoy positivity. I'm a sunny side up guy.
But your inner monologue, are you nice to yourself? Your ongoing inner monologue.
I'm reasonably nice. Like, yeah, I am.
I am vicious. I sound like you know David Goggins is this like
Oh yeah, I was just someone was talking. Honestly, Mr.
yeah my inner
Thank you.
monologue sounds like David Goggins. We're just like you're not doing enough. This wasn't good enough. Like I see the problems, so like I attack them. Like it's like oh like all this